What are some of those misconceptions that you faced during your journey?
Yeah.
And what's the reality behind them?
I mean, the biggest misconception about high ticket sales is you can't really build a career from it.
So it's very powerful for a Muslim to know high ticket sales is a space that is relevant to those who really want to perform hijrah.
What is your objection handling techniques? How do you handle objections, or how do you see an objection when it comes at you?
Is $2,000 the most you've ever made, or have you had experiences before where you've made a lot more?
No, I made a lot more.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your brother Marwan Dawaibi here and Ayyub Al-Ishi, the co-founders of Rizq Rise. And subhanAllah, we've got a lot of guys reaching out to us, asking a lot of questions about high ticket sales. How can they get in? The gems behind the industry. Is it the right industry to be in? Tell us the truth about what could really happen for somebody new inside the space. So look, we're going to give you guys the whole shebang. We're not going to hold back on this, right, Ayyub?
Sah.
Absolutely. So guys, stay tuned. Inshallah, we're going to be releasing a lot of different series to give you guys a better insight on the industry. And look, some free information, some free game, if you want to call it, to give you a better chance to close more deals. So let's get straight into it. Ayyub, you ready?
Let's go. Let's get started.
Let's go. So first question really and truly comes to mind is, what's the difference between low ticket and high ticket sales? Can we understand the difference?
Yeah, 100%. So initially, the difference is in price. It's very, very obvious. So normally high ticket, you're selling anything that's normally above $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. And low ticket normally is anywhere between 1,000 and lower. Now, the biggest difference in terms of selling high ticket or lower ticket is the amount of money that you can make. Of course, the higher that you charge and the more offers that you can actually sell at a high ticket price. For example, if I'm selling something at 20K and I make 10% commission on that, that's $2,000. But if I'm selling something that's low ticket, $500, and I'm making 10%, that's only $50. Okay. So the big difference between high ticket and low ticket is the earning potential, really and truly. And if you're somebody that's in business and you're thinking of selling anything, the best way, especially in this day and age, is selling something that's high ticket. And if you can't sell something that, if you're thinking, okay, what can I do to charge 2,000, 3,000, 5,000? Then you need to think what problems that I can solve that are huge for somebody else.
Big demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bigger the problem that you can solve, the more money that you make. For example, Elon Musk, he's solving huge problems in the world and he's getting paid massively for it.
High ticket, huh?
Very, very high ticket. Okay. So it's really truly in that, in simple terms.
Okay, cool. Next question is, and this is a lot of newbies, right? Looking at the space and trying to figure out, is it for me? Is it worth it? Is there longevity inside this industry? Is it a get rich quick? Is this one of those Forex crypto moves?
Yeah.
What is high ticket sales in essence of, are there opportunities there, right? So give us an idea, bro, of the facts and the figures of where this industry is going.
It's crazy, man, subhanAllah, because a lot of people ask me this, and a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, high ticket sales, this term is getting thrown around as its new Forex thing or new drop shipping as it was in 2014. It's like this new shiny thing that's going around. But the stats and figures show, especially when I got into high ticket sales, and this is something that I looked at, is where is the industry going? How far can I go with this industry? How much money can I make? And when I looked at it, currently, the online space, alone the online education industry, it's worth $240 billion. And it's projected to hit $500 billion by 2030.
Crazy.
That's huge. That shows you that the industry is growing at a fast and rapid rate, meaning there's going to be high demand for sales reps and appointment setters for companies. And we've seen this. There's a huge shift from traditional education. People are going online for the education. People are becoming more remote, digital currencies. So the world is shifting to more of an online world. And we're seeing that dramatically with online education, how everything's shifting towards online, which is huge.
I mean, to be honest, I think this big change came to consideration when COVID happened, right? Everybody's seen COVID. It was a world calamity. The whole world went on pause. A lot of businesses shut down. A lot of businesses lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. And those who went into the online space and sold their products and services online actually thrived.
100%.
So that was the biggest visible change that people actually seen. Another thing I want to highlight about that point right there is high ticket sales is a skill that is extremely transferable.
100%.
You don't have to stay in the online space. For example, let's just say you move to a different country, even though high ticket sales is completely remote, but you decide, I don't want to be remote anymore. I want to work in the corporate world, and I have these high ticket sales skills. You can simply walk into a real estate corporate space. You can go into anywhere that's selling high ticket product or service or assets, and you can sell at a high level, and you can absolutely crush it. If you have the skill, you're confident with your abilities, you have the correct offer, there's 100%. No reason why you're not going to make a ton of money.
100%. I think the big misconception about high ticket sales or selling something that's high ticket is the longevity of it.
Yeah.
And how much money can you make? Is it something that's sustainable? Is it something that I can take as a career?
And feed my family,
take care of it? Can I be remote? There's a lot of questions that people ask. And I think the question I want to ask you as well, because you come from a traditional background as well, Marwan.
Yeah.
You come, mashallah, family businesses and a tremendous experience in the physical world. How was that transition when you did come across high ticket sales and online world? Because you did dip your fingers into the online world for a couple of years, and then you made a transition.
So just a bit of background story about how things were for me. I'm the youngest of 3 brothers. My father, my siblings, my brothers, my uncles, every man in my reach is pretty much into the entrepreneur space, business space, right?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, growing up, I got to see a lot of business. Age 14, I was working. Remember, I came to my dad at age 14. I was like, look, I want to get a new phone. I was like, can give me some money?
Yeah.
And he said, nah, that's not how it works. He said, I pay for you in regards to the clothes on your back, the food in your stomach, shelter, this, that, the other. I'm not going to pay for those extra luxuries that you want in your life. You need to learn this now. So I was pretty much trained at a young age to think, if you want something, go get it, right? And then I got into business. When I got into business, my journey was very different in regards to yourself, because I started off with restaurants, cafes. We opened a chain line of restaurants in North Africa. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, very successful.
Alhamdulillah.
And I had my eldest brother and my father, who were basically my mentors. They were coaching me about not just business, but about life, about how to treat people, about your character, about being honest, about all these different things that I was learning while just watching them, right? And then I went from the restaurants, the cafes, we went into different businesses. I was working as a school teacher. So I got into a lot of different things, alhamdulillah. And then I moved to the UK and I got into the corporate sales space, right? I was doing cold calling. I was working with gas and electric companies. I was working with telecom companies. I was working with corporate sites. And subhanAllah, I got to see like how these guys work. And it was funny because when I came to the UK, I seen everyone working on a simple standard, right? 9 to 5. They come in 9 o'clock, they're lazy, they're tired, they're not really switched on. It takes them an hour or 2 to switch on. 5 p.m. on the dot, they're ready to go home and switch their brains off and watch Netflix. So the hunger that I had by being in the business sense, working with my father and my brothers, gave me a different type of hunger and seeking opportunity in a different manner. Do you get what I'm saying? So I came to the realization very quickly that I stand out in my space. I'm not like everybody else. And it's funny because when I got into the corporate space in sales, I was pretty much hitting my targets before 12 o'clock, right? The target was till 5, I was finishing at 12. And the boss had the thing where he was like, if you hit your targets before 12, you go home. So I was going home pretty much every day at 12. And it pissed him off, So he was like, we need to change the rules. But as I was doing all of this, when I came to the UK, I didn't really have anything at the beginning. Yeah. I was still flipping cars. I was going into different industries, learning about different things. I was very proactive. And this is something that a lot of people need to understand. It's not just about owning a business and being a business owner. Even if you're an employee, be extremely proactive with every opportunity that you have and manage your time effectively. 100 million% you'll change your situation. 100 million%. But then I got into the online space. I got into the network marketing scene, Forex, crypto. If I can go back to myself now, I would have advised against it. Just because, look, I learned a lot of good skills in that industry in regards to communication, public speaking, articulating myself at a high manner, working with a lot of very, very, wealthy people. But what I would have went back and changed was how long I was in that industry. I was in there for a little bit too long, right? Sometimes you need to know when to pull out of a business or of a role. You need to know when to pull out, move on to the next thing. But with that experience, alhamdulillah, I was able to build a team of over 800 people around the world. And I learned so much about emotional intelligence. And that's what business is. If you can emotionally, connect with people from whatever they are in the world, wherever they are in the world. You can connect with them and you can find the solution to their problem. Sales, bro. That's direct sales right there. Alhamdulillah, I had a good experience with that. And then finishing off that, I remember seeing you in high ticket sales, and you were absolutely crushing it, bro. I mean, I remember the times where me and Ayub would go out for dinner, and while I'm driving, he's pulling out his laptop. He's like, "Oh, 1 second, bro, let me just make some money." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What's going on?" And he'd be jumping on with clients, with big clients, closing deals, so on and so forth. By the time I get to the restaurant, he's already made, $400 or $500. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, what is this high ticket sales stuff, bro? I need to educate myself. And here's another point that was really important to you. Is you need to know when to become a student, right? I wasn't looking at you thinking, oh no, I've been in sales for a long time. I looked at you and I thought, wow, this guy's crushing it.
100%.
Let me go through the process.
That's actually a huge thing, because a lot of people sometimes when they're in the game for so long, they have this ego.
Absolutely.
And they feel like, okay, there's nothing else to learn. But it was crazy actually seeing you, because you're older than me.
Yeah.
Somebody that has tremendous experience in business before me, and you're willing to become a student.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which showed me how coachable you are, and how what type of person you are in terms of sales and your business mindset, so to speak.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because when I started working with Ayub, this was a while ago, I got into the high ticket sales space, went through the process, studied everything, marked everything off. And I remember calling Ayub and I was like, I need a role today.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, let me call you back. Calls me back, lands me a role. I get into the role. I negotiated the salary from the first call, and negotiated the commission structure, and then I went in guns blazing, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because that offer, I believe I closed around 10 deals my first week.
Yeah.
So I made the business about 30.
I remember because that offer was brand new, like literally brand new. And for the guys that don't know literally nothing about high ticket sales, when you're going into a brand new offer that's not been proven, there's no proven lead flow or anything like that hasn't been operating for more than 6 months, it's extremely hard to make money or prove it, so to speak. But you came in literally guns blazing, and with little to no information towards the high ticket space, you took the information, you ran in. And how much did you close in the first 3 weeks?
Yeah, about over 30, 40K.
That's crazy.
Yeah, over 40K, I believe, yeah.
And that's what, like, no prior experience in high ticket sales, which shows me the type of person that you are in terms of sales in general. Because
and what's really important there is people can look at high ticket sales and say, oh no, I have to go through a year of studying. And that's not the reality, bro.
No.
That is not the reality. If you really want something and you are willing to do the work and you are coachable to the process, there's no reason why you can't crush it.
100%.
Right? But a lot of guys that go into the high ticket sales space or any industry, they go in with an employee mindset. You can't have an employee mindset if you want to win, because the 9 to 5 teaches you to switch on and switch off at certain time zones.
Yeah.
It teaches you to ask permission to leave the office, for example, if you want to go pray. It requests you to inform your manager to go to the bathroom. Things like this, bro. You're you're programmed to think in a specific manner.
Yeah.
High ticket sales, you're self-employed / entrepreneurial, right? You're learning about business. So you need to be self-motivated, self-disciplined. You need to self-assess yourself. I remember there was a time I called you and I didn't close a deal in like 24, 40 hours. And I was like, Ayub, bro, I'll get the deal myself. I'll go get the lead myself. And this is something that a lot of guys need to understand in high ticket sales.
Yeah.
They have a bad couple of days and it's like, oh, I've given up. I don't know if this is for me. And they start going straight into doubt and fear, and they really stop themselves from the opportunity. Now, I want to ask a question to you, Ayub.
Yeah.
Right? You went into high ticket sales, and I remember the time you invested around something like 5K, something like that. Am I right? Yeah, you invested about 5K into a program, developed yourself. I believe you got like 3 coaching calls.
Something like that. 4. I only took 2, but yeah.
2 coaching calls. Like, that's crazy to me, because there's people that have mentors, coaching, sessions every week, and they're not even utilizing. You barely had anything, but the thing that you had is you were like, I am determined to dominate and win. That mindset, bro, is something that people need to, like, you got to dig deep in between you and yourself. That's to correct. Realize that you have a strong why, right? But you came into this space, bro, and Allahumma barik, you absolutely crushed it. Like, tell us that experience from the beginning of you landing the role. What happened there?
Yeah. So my journey started like literally so many trials and errors, invested into multiple courses. And when I did try and make that transition into high ticket sales, after investing into that program, I landed my first offer very quickly in the first 3 weeks. Yeah. And it's because of one thing, which it got drilled into me since a young age. which is being proactive. And this is something that a lot of people lack in this day and age, is being proactive. Like using little to no information, but acting on it and figuring stuff out on your own. For some reason, a lot of people, and this is the reason a lot of people fail in mentorship, is that they're not proactive. They literally don't take the information and find a solution for the problem, and they literally need somebody to hold their hand in every little thing that pops up. So this is why a lot of people fail.
That's called the victim mentality, by the way.
Victim mentality. Yeah, people have that victim mentality, and I noticed that with a lot of people, and they're wondering, oh, why am I succeeding? They blame the leads, they blame the offer, they blame everything else but themselves. So back to where I was. So when I got my first offer, it was a decent offer. It was an agency that I sold for, and it was my first offer, so to speak. And I didn't really make much money. I just made like $1,500, $2,000 that month, and it was a great experience for me into the high ticket sales space.
Hold up for a second, Ayub. Is $2,000 the most you've ever made, or have you had experiences before where you've made a lot more in different things?
No, I made a lot more.
You made a lot more. So here's my question. Why didn't you quit your first month? You seen 2,000, you could have been like, I've made way more somewhere else. Let me pull the plug and let me get out.
Yeah.
Why didn't that happen?
I mean, even crazier, by the way, is not even $2,000, is even after I left the offer, because I've seen there's a bigger potential in a different offer, I went to that, which aligned a little more about what I wanted to sell. I worked for 2 months and I only made $500. Now, to a lot of people, that is mentally draining, especially if you have a family, if you have stuff
Bills
going on, and you're like, what's going on? Is this industry it? And don't get me wrong, I had doubts. Like, I'm like, what's going on? I'm here for 2-3 months. I've been working so hard. I'm putting in hours and hours and hours into my craft. Like, what's going on? I only made $500. But what I realized is, from all my previous experiences in life and business, I wasn't consistent. Okay.
You were jumping from one thing to another.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Which is the new thing that young people in this age suffer.
Yeah, the young generation.
The TikTok generation, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
And I realized that for me to be able to get to another level in anything that I do in life, I need to stay consistent. And that's exactly what I did.
So hold up. That moment of me saying to myself, right, that's it. I made all these mistakes of not being consistent. This is time to change. That moment happened, and then how much money did you make after that moment?
Literally, after I made that decision that I'm never going to quit, a week later, there was 3 closers. I was the 3rd closer. 2 of them quit. They fell off. I was the only person left. And then out of nowhere, we made some adjustments with the CEO. We increased the lead flow. The lead flow started coming in. I was taking 13 calls a day, 7 days a week. In 2 weeks.
Grind.
Alhamdulillah. In 2 weeks, I made $18,000.
Allahumma barik.
Alhamdulillah.
Allahumma
So
barik.
generated just about $180,000 in revenue for our company. And that's only in a price point.
That's crazy, bro.
And the price point of the offer was 4.8K. So I had to sell so many units. I was selling anywhere between 3 to 5 units a day.
They lost 2 closes and they gained 2 more from you. There's 3 in you, bro.
Yeah, I remember even the CEOs, because they're 2 co-founders. They were calling me. It's like, Ayub, what's going on? Like, like, how are you closing these deals?
Yeah.
All right. But I think it's just because I had so much conviction, I had so much drive, and my why was so strong, because at that time I was trying to get married, and there was so much drive underneath me that I wanted to succeed. Because I wanted to move out. I wanted to take care of my parents.
Yeah.
And there's so much drive, and my reason why was so strong. And this is the problem with a lot of people, is they don't have a strong reason why.
Yeah. You ask him, bro. You say, look, what's
Yeah.
your reason why? And he says, I want to succeed so I can be free.
Yeah.
What is that, bro? Like, honestly, here's another thing I wanted to speak on real quick. The idea of, I want to retire when I'm 25. Like, this is such a diluted misconception. It's a unicorn analogy,
Yeah.
right? I want to retire. Bro, we're men. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, we're supposed to work for a long period in our
Yeah.
lives. We have the responsibility of our parents, our siblings, our wives, our daughters, our sons, the ummah, the community. There's so much responsibility.
Yes.
Now, if you want to think about just you, yourself, right? Then you can go do your thing. But in essence, a man is designed to protect, to provide,
Yeah.
and to impact, and to empower, right? That's what you're designed to do. So this is something that I wanted to highlight because we're very similar in that sense.
100%.
And a lot of young people don't have those kind of ideas,
And
right?
it relates back to as well purpose. A lot, to be honest, because if you retire at 25 and let's say you made all your money that you want, so to speak, and that's it, you're chilling out, you have your wife, you have all your money, is that it?
That's it. Game over.
Is that it? Like as a man, what really drives you is purpose and a reason why to conquer. This has been literally the way men in design since the dawn of time, is to conquer, be a provider, develop, build. This is how we're designed. So you're telling me you want to just finish? That's it? Like your potential is at 25? You want to retire? There's not much for you to do after that. I think that's a big turning point for me as well, and why I was able to become successful very fast in high ticket sales. Alhamdulillah, fast forward today, we closed nearly $2 million, alhamdulillah, in revenue in under a year.
Allahu Barak.
And
Closed over 2 million.
Alhamdulillah.
Allahu Barak, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
That's something that is a milestone, right? We keep it moving though, alhamdulillah.
By the way, something popped up actually in my mind. What are key skill sets that you feel have transitioned or were transparent to you from physical businesses that you took into the high ticket sales space, or the vice versa as well, that now that you learn from the high ticket sales space, that can be relatable as well to local businesses and how they can actually use that skill in person? Because we were literally in Morocco, we're walking around, and even a lot of businesses, they have no sales. They have no drive. We're actually asking for, we're literally asking for the sale. We're trying to negotiate and we're trying to get the sale,
we're trying to buy, yeah.
But they're literally just like closing us off, and they're not willing to close the deal, handle objections, nothing.
Absolutely.
It's crazy to me.
Absolutely. So in regards to that question, some key components I took from physical business is you are determined to work.
Yeah.
And for the first year in business, you are willing to work for free, basically, because you're not going to really see profit. You're going to try to pay back your investment within your first year. That kind of work in a physical business gives you a lot of momentum, right? It gives you momentum to work. You have a lot of work ethic. So I took that synergy and I put that on high ticket sales, and hence why I was able to do really well in the first offer that I landed. From the get-go, I came in guns blazing, got the job done, got the deal done, and the guys were extremely happy with the performance. Mm-hmm. It's because of those interactions I had in the physical world. Another thing about the physical world is you learn a lot about customer acquisition, customer service. You're dealing with a lot of face-to-face. You're dealing with a lot of emotion from a person, whether it's a happy customer, a bad customer, or an unhappy customer. He's had a great day, he's had a bad day. How do you deal with that customer to actually sell them your product or service? So taking that onto an online sales call made me a lot better than the other guys, because other guys didn't really have those experiences. All they seen was a screen, and they were just like, okay, let me just go off whatever he tells me. But I was diving in a lot deeper. I was going into areas because I had experience in those areas, and I took the prospect through a journey, basically, right? Through an emotional, logical journey, which made the decision super easy for them to make. And that's what you want to do in high ticket sales. You want to make the prospect feel like they're going through a difficult journey. You want to ease the journey, solve the problems, provide the solution, make it make sense on his end, and then close the deal. That's the process, really, right? But flip side, what have I taken from the online space and I can, do in the physical world? Bro, we're literally, we're not gonna mention too much, but we're literally planning a new business, inshallah ta'ala, next year. And already the methods that we're going to be utilizing to build that traditional business, we're using high ticket sales techniques into that business, right? So the way you could utilize those things is when you're talking to, for example, a client online, and he's giving you, what do they call it, bro? He's giving you smoke screens, right? Over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, fake objections.
Yeah, fake objections, right? When those smoke screens come up on an online Zoom call, there's literally only so much you can do. But if those smokescreen fake objections come in the real world and you have the experience of a high ticket sales closing on a Zoom call, you're way more likely to make more money in the real world because you've dealt with these in a much more difficult circumstance where there's no physical touch, right? You can't, talk to the person face to face. So I can utilize those skills of dealing with, these fake objections and I don't know kind of objections and take them into the real world, Close a lot more deals, man.
100%. No,
Let me kind of ask you a question, bro, because you know,
Yeah.
I want to know. There's a lot of people out there in the world, right? And they've been scammed before. They've seen something like high ticket sales and they don't believe it's real. They don't believe it's true.
Okay.
What are some of those misconceptions that you faced during your journey?
Yeah.
And what's the reality behind them?
I mean, the biggest misconception about high ticket sales is that you can't really build a career from it.
Yeah.
You can't build a career from it. It's something that isn't really real. It's like Forex or crypto or something that's fast. Okay, it's like the new shiny object syndrome of this new generation, as dropshipping was, and so many different new models that came out. And I get this a lot, to be honest. I'm like, okay, where's high ticket sales going? And I think I explained this in the start as well. It's literally skyrocketing to a $500 billion industry by 2030. But not only that, but high ticket sales is a general term, to be honest. It's not just remote closing for online education. It's services, so marketing services. There's solar, there's tech sales. There's a lot of different stuff that go underneath the umbrella of high ticket sales. So a lot of people in these high ticket sales, they feel like I'm just talking about education, selling courses online, and that's it. But there's more to it. High ticket sales is selling anything that's high ticket, okay? That's online and remote. And this is the beauty about high ticket sales, because you can literally work for a company from anywhere in the world as long as it has a Wi-Fi. As long as you have Wi-Fi and you have a bank account that you can receive money in,
and you got your laptop,
you got a laptop, you're literally good. And a lot of people say, is it actually truly remote? Can you work from anywhere in the world? Yes, you can. All right, because technically you're a freelancer, you're a contractor that works for other companies and you're using your own skill sets to close deals for them. Because there's thousands and thousands of companies, and as these companies grow, they look for sales reps to close deals for them, and they pay them anywhere between 10 to 20% to close these deals for them. Because at the end of the day, the CEO, we run a company ourselves, it is a rise. I mean, we don't have time all day to be taking our sales meetings for the guys that are interested in the coaching program that want to get to high ticket sales. We don't have all day to do that. So we hire sales reps and appointment setters to be able to do that. And we pay them a percentage for taking that off our plate. And it's exactly how high ticket sales works in a nutshell. And in terms of it being a long-term career, all right, I see it as something that not only it's a long-term career, but the skill sets that you learn from high ticket sales are transferable in a lot of areas in your life. For instance, I come from an online business background. I started an online sweets company in COVID for a year. I scaled it to one of the top sweets companies in the country. I started a marketing agency, ran it for 3 years. But while running the marketing agency and running different businesses, I realized something. I lacked certain skill sets because I never really focused on one skill set specifically and mastered it. I was trying to master a lot of different skills at once. Fulfillment, sales, marketing, a lot of different skill sets at once. And what I noticed when I was running my marketing agency is that I lacked sales, fulfillment, and systems. And when I thought for a second, I'm like, where can I learn all this stuff? Where can I master this skill set of closing deals, learning how to market, and how to build a successful company? And I was like, okay, instead of me trying to set up a company on my own and learn everything and spend a lot of money and have a longer process, why don't I just work for another company and learn all their secrets and how they grew and learn one skill set? And that's where high ticket sales came into play.
Amazing, bro. I know some of the clients that you had, that you were working with were like Gymshark,
100%.
Shopify,
yes, at some
right?
point, I was closing for a huge agency in the United States. We worked with people like Gymshark, Shopify, Duolingo, a lot of big brands. And one of the biggest deals I closed was a $40,000 deal.
Wow,
for a $1 billion company in the United States, a big franchise. So that teaches you a lot of experience in terms of how a business is run. You can literally have a bird's eye view of everything that's happening in the company, from fulfillment, from marketing, from sales, how the company is run. And then you can literally take that skill set of learning how this company is running and take it to your own business later on in 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. But guess what? You don't even have to do that with sales. The top 1% of sales reps make anywhere between $500,000 to 5 million per year.
Yeah, crazy, bro.
It's mad.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know what's crazy about sales as well
Yeah.
is when it comes to high ticket sales specifically, there is no point of entry. You don't have to come with like, oh, I have a master's degree and a PhD, and nobody really cares, really and truly, right? I come from the royal family. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters in sales, especially high ticket sales, is you're based on performance.
Yeah.
You know you can perform well. You're gonna make a ton of money.
Yeah.
You can come into a space where there's already setters and closes, and you can outperform everybody in that space, and you can make way more money than them. That's why I love high ticket sales. It's based on your ability, right? And when you're capable and you're able, you determine how much money you want to make. You write that paycheck. Imagine me waking up today in the morning, and this is something I had a conversation with you earlier today about.
Yeah.
I said, man, there's people that they'll go through a day, they'll make no money, right? And they'll go to sleep and they'll be like, okay, we'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah, and they blame the leads, they blame
everybody but themselves. Bro, me and you, the way we operate, and this has been us for a while, is if business is not growing, we start itching like there's something
100%.
wrong, right? There's something wrong with how we're moving. There's something wrong with how we're making money. And this is why I love high ticket sales. You can come in here, have that winning mentality, be extremely disciplined with yourself, get to work, learn what you need to learn, develop the systems, get to work, close the deals, and you can be in a situation where you're making footballers money, really and truly. There's guys that are making footballer money through their laptops from anywhere in the world. It's amazing.
100%.
And specifically, by the way, for the Muslim, this space works really well, especially for the guys that want to do hijrah. I'm a Muslim and I want to do hijrah. What do I do? The first thing I need to understand is, okay, I need a highly paid skill that is completely remote, that wherever I am, whether I'm in Morocco, whether I'm in Dubai, which is probably the most popular area, people that want to go there.
Oman, Qatar, whatever.
Anywhere.
Saudi,
I want to stay in Saudi and do 6 months of Umrah instead of doing 2 days of Umrah.
Yeah.
I am completely remote. I'm in control of that situation, right?
Yeah.
So it's very powerful for a Muslim to know that high ticket sales is a space that is relevant to those who really want to perform hijrah.
100%, especially in an ever-growing industry, and there's so many different sub-markets that you can actually get into. But Marwan, we spoke about high ticket sales from a very high level. I think we could dive a little bit more deeper in specific sales techniques and something that the viewers can take away in terms of value, bi'idhnillah. So I know something that's very, very common in sales, which is called building rapport with the prospect, building the relationship with the prospect when they first jump on the call. And I know this is something that you're really good at in person as well. Your first interaction with a prospect, your first appearance with the prospect. And this is something that I drill into the students at Rizq Rise, is how your first appearance is and how you build rapport with the prospect dictates the rest of the call. So I want to ask you, how do you build rapport with the prospect to ensure that you have the best call, or you set the standard for the call?
Great question. First things first impressions last a lifetime. If you come on a call and within the first 10 seconds, you don't look sharp, you're not enthusiastic, you don't seem like an expert and know your stuff, you don't dress well, you don't look after yourself, then that's an indication that you can't even look after yourself. How are you supposed to look after the prospect?
Correct.
Right? But if you come onto the call and you're doing all those things, and you come on with really good energy, hey Ahmed, Assalamu alaikum, how's it going, brother? Are you good? Great stuff. Where are you calling from today? I'm calling from Cairo. Amazing, bro. Well, how's business out there? You're there for business? You're there for pleasure? What's going on? No, I'm out here for business. Amazing, bro. Well, look, there's a lot to cover on the call today, so if it's okay, we can dive straight in. Yeah, that's cool. Well, allow me to introduce myself formally. My name is Marwan Dawaibi. I am XYZ. I'll be on the call today to cover XYZ. So there's a formal introduction that sets a line in regards to professionalism.
100%.
There's brothers that get on calls and it's like they don't even introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Imagine like not even introducing yourself, and this is a business transaction that you're trying to do.
Yes.
And not even like giving the baseline of an introduction. So I spend a lot of time trying to get to know that person, right? Getting to know where he's from, what he does, what's important to him, why he wants to win in specific levels. And I go into a deeper level than just the general surface.
Yeah.
People sometimes they go to the general surface and they just think that's enough. But when I go deeper, for example, I was speaking to a prospect the other day, and he mentioned that he really wanted to grow so that he could spend time with his kids. Automatically, I switched that on, and I was like, "Well, listen, bro, I'm a father as well. I can definitely relate. What's your son's name?" And he was like, "My son's name is Ahmed." Okay, mashallah. How old's Ahmed? Ahmed's 4. what's the relationship like with Ahmed? Is he playful? Is he one of those
You're
tense
digging into
kids?
his emotions now.
I felt he felt like I was his friend.
Yeah, you're
talking to
caring
him.
about him.
Yeah, there was a care. There was a lot of relatability. And he asked me about my daughter, and we had a conversation there. And then after that moment was done, you need to know when to probe and when to pull, right?
Yeah.
Some brothers, they probe too much in a question or a specific scenario.
They dig themselves a hole.
They dig themselves into a hole. They end up spending 20 minutes on the call on a specific topic that's not relevant. So you need to know when to probe, when to pull.
Yeah.
And then from there, okay, bro, well, may Allah bless your son. Let's get straight back into it. Now I understand the importance of, your relationship with your son. Boom. And I keep it moving. So I think the first impression that you have on that prospect, even if that prospect doesn't buy right now, you've left a really good impression, and you leave the conversation on a really good impression as well, so that you can leave a bridge.
Yes.
And that allows you to stay in touch with that prospect, keep a good relationship. You're connected on social media.
Yes.
There's Loom videos being sent, so on and so forth. And most importantly, while you're doing that call, you're allowing that person to know that you care.
Yes.
Right? This is so important. You're not in there for just a quick buck and it's just a transaction for me. I genuinely care for a solution to your problem.
100.
And the top sales guys, bro, the guys that are actually crushing and making a lot of money, they're not afraid to know how to pull and how to push, right? They're not afraid to say, look, I don't think this is a really good fit for you. I genuinely don't believe that this is the right time for you to take something like this. The pushy sales guys, the desperate sales guys, they'll eat you
Commission
alive.
brat, as they call them.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Commission brats, is it?
Brett.
I like the word brat instead. Commission brats.
You know what? To add to that as well, and this is something that I drill into the guys as well in terms of first impressions, because all they can see is a Zoom, like your face on a Zoom call, is video. It's not like in person. You can dress nice. They can shake in their hand. They can feel their energy.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. So the first thing that I tell your guys is, before you even speak, people are gonna judge you. They're gonna judge you. If you have a bad background, if you have your bed in the background, if you have dirty background, the walls look dirty, your wardrobe is looking, how are you gonna have a positive impression that you're the expert?
Yeah.
And they should trust you to pay you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000.
Absolutely.
So just your background and just wearing a nice shirt and looking professional and looking good with good lighting as well. And this is something even in interviews that they actually look for in high quality guys, because they know if that person cares about his lighting, how he looks,
his physique.
and his physique and his
You
presentation.
don't really see a guy that's in high tech says that's extremely overweight, that's just sitting there with his belly out. It's usually guys that look after themselves.
The
right?
sharpest guys, the sharpest salesmen, most of them are ripped guys in shape. They take care of themselves.
They work out. Because again, you're self-employed. You got to get out there and get your head in the game.
100%.
Even for us right now, we're in Morocco, right? We're in beautiful Marrakesh. And Allahumma barak, we're enjoying ourselves here. But, we're seeing the difference of being able... We're taking Zoom calls, the surrounding that, the environment that we're in, the setting that we have behind us. A prospect would jump on the call and be like, where
wow, they see palm trees, they see nice backgrounds.
Like, where are you, bro? I'm like, I'm just in Morocco.
The close rate increases.
The close rate increases, bro. It
The
goes
little
up.
tip for the guys: move out to hot countries, you'll make more money.
Come to Morocco, bro.
But yeah, that's a huge topic, to be honest, and how you look and your first impressions. As the Wolf of Wall Street used to say in his book, is look sharp, be enthusiastic as hell, and look like you're expert in your field. Like, be the expert. And how you do that is not only by your looks, but also your tonality and how you actually say certain things and how you set the frame of the call to make sure that you're perceived as an expert and they should trust you. So anything that you say, you ask and pitch is considered as, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. I can trust him, and whatever price he gives, I'm sure that I'm going to be paying that.
You said the word there, trust, right? Let's dive into that one.
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of people are losing deals because there's no trust between the prospect and the closer or whoever is contacting them, right? How does one establish trust with a prospect? Give me a scenario, for example, that you've dealt with where the prospect was, he had trust issues and you brought him around. Give me that scenario.
To be honest, trust, believe it or not, starts even before they jump on a call with you. It's everything that you do before the call. All right. What material are they watching before the call? All right. Have they been exposed to student interviews? Have they been exposed to testimonials before that warmed them up and nurtured them before the call? A huge thing that I preach and I learned from my mentors is, on average, to have somebody buy from you, they need to consume at least 7 hours of your content to even build trust for you to buy. They're the most hot leads that you can bring to a call. But on a sales call or on a presentation, the first thing that you do to build trust with our prospect is how you set the frame of the call and how you build rapport with the prospect and how you ask your questions. Because if you're just stumbling over your words, you have filler words, and you don't know what you're saying, you're just perceived as not an expert, you're not confident, and why should I trust you?
A waffler, really.
A waffler, really, right? But if you're just confident in yourself and you have a strong tonality and you're perceived as an expert, you look like an expert, people naturally build trust for you. But not only that, the way that you ask questions is important, but not only that, when you transition into the trust, as I like to call it, which is basically telling them a little bit more about your company, before you pitch them, you need to build trust in terms of why should they buy from you? And this is a question that a lot of people ask. Even if they're nurtured for 7 hours, 2 weeks, a month with your content, why should they buy your service? Because there's two types of sales. There's the sale on the method and the sale on the product. And most likely, if you nurture people properly, all right, they'll be sold on the method. Then your job as a closer is to sell them on the product and the service that you're providing them. So before you jump into the pitch, and this is something that I did pretty well when I was selling the 20, 30, 40K package, when I was, sitting down with CEOs that are doing 200, 300, 5 mil, 10 mil a month, is building that trust and showing them that we're an expert in our field and you can trust us. Because sometimes they think that you're a small fish in the discovery, right? But once I jump into the trust pillar and I talk a little bit more about who we work for, testimonials, concerns, I break down concerns that they had with like proven fact and figures, they start looking at me as, okay,
this guy knows his stuff.
He knows his stuff and I can trust him because of this XYZ client,
he's capable.
Client, and he's capable, especially when I go into educational. Then I can go into the pitch. Now that I have the trust built and they can see me as an expert and I sold on the method of us providing the service and we're capable of providing the service, then I can go into the pitch. And then that'll be so much easier for me then to drop the price and close the deal and handle objections than not having the trust before the call. So it's very, very essential.
100%. I remember a specific scenario you brought into mind now of a brother who had extreme trust issues, in fact. Right? This, what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, tell us about that story, actually. This is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this brother, he opted into our program, really wanted to get into high-tech sales.
Yeah.
Jumped on a call with me, didn't have his camera on, which is something that you know how it is, bro. Standard procedures, have your camera on. He couldn't have his camera on for some reason.
Yeah.
So he made it a little bit more tricky on my end.
Yeah.
But we went through everything. We went through the discovery, went through the pain points, the goal points, so on and so forth. And he really liked what we had going on, but he had a massive, doubt with trust, right? He was very doubtful that he could trust the program, himself, me, everything. So the end of the call, he said he wanted to move ahead, but I still could feel like there was something there. So I said, listen, bro, if you got something going on right now because you seem like you're a little bit fidgety, I don't mind jumping on a call with you again. Which shows, again, don't just be a commission brat, right? Handle the situation properly. And I could tell there was something going on in the background where he was. So I said, look, bro, we can jump on a call maybe Friday, have a discussion then, if that feels better for you. And he was like, yeah. And he made it feel a little bit easier that he was like, okay, I want to jump on the call with him on Friday.
That's very, very important, by the way, because some people think that you have to close that deal on that call.
And they become desperate and they lose the opportunity of even closing itself. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. So you got to know as a closer when you should call the call short and just set a follow-up. And this is exactly what you're doing amazingly.
Yeah. So anyways, we called up on Friday and he was like, look, I want to do this, but XYZ is happening and I don't know. And I said, bro, do I have the ability to coach you right now? Can I coach you a little bit? And he's like, yeah. I said, bro, you're going through a little bit of doubt and it's normal. If you've never invested online before, this is actually normal. But let's go back to some of the reasons why you want to succeed and what you want to get out of this, right? Long story short, he cut the deal and he got in. He joined the program. 24 hours later, if you remember, he gave us a call. I'm not going to mention the name, but this guy gave us a call. And he was basically shaking, bro. He was like, look, I don't think I can do this. I'm seeing a lot of information. This is all new to me. And what happened was he was trying to go into a space and absorb everything in 24 hours. And you can't do that, bro. You can't do that. That's like saying someone that doesn't pray at all, but tomorrow you want him to pray follow every sunnah, tarawih, tahajjud. This guy's going to crumble, right? there's a procedure, there's a step-to-step
Yeah.
process that you have to go through. So we coached him a little bit on that call, and we said, look, if we have permission to coach you, we'll give you a quick coaching session right now. And we coached him through that doubt and that fear and everything in between. And subhanAllah, after that call, if you remember, this guy just switched on, bro.
So I'm ready to get started.
He was ready to go. He was guns blazing
Full
coming
pay.
in. And then what happened was 3 weeks of him being in the program. Keep in mind, this guy was, sick and tired of his corporate job, wanted out, 9 to 5, been doing it for 10 years. Khalas, bro, he's done.
Yeah.
And the guy don't have any freedom. He doesn't have any freedom. He's not flexible. He's barely able to go to Umrah because he has to, ask for time off, so on and so forth. And he's coming out with about 2.5K a month from his salary, which he's been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And subhanAllah, bro, the guy came in as the most coachable student we have at Rizq Rise. Absolutely smashed out the program. 3 weeks later, we get a message in the group. He just lands not just a high ticket selling position, but one that actually pays him up to £3,000 per deal that he sets, which is crazy because this guy used to work 9 to 5, 40 hours a week for 4 weeks in a row in order for him to make less than that.
Yeah.
So subhanAllah, the transition was crazy. Not only that, but he went and he landed in the second role.
I think his earning potential was actually anywhere between 300 to 400K per year.
400K, yeah.
That's actually crazy for his first appointment setting role.
That's absolutely incredible,
SubhanAllah.
bro.
And if you're watching this, you know who you are.
You know who you are. He's meant to be closing around 10 deals a month.
He landed his second offer as well recently.
He landed the second offer, which is an American offer. So he's expected to make anywhere from 5 to 10K American hours, UK hours. This guy's going double shift.
Mashallah.
And you know what's funny, bro? I jumped on a call with him the other day, and I was like, oh, bro, how are you feeling about everything so far? He's like, bro, I'm ready to dominate. Any business I go into now, I want to be number one.
The confidence went from here.
The confidence went from the most doubtful student we ever had to I am coming in to eat, I want to dominate, right?
100%.
Which is crazy because that's what happens sometimes when you actually follow through the process. Exactly what happened to you as well. You follow through a process and you end up with a result.
I think touching on that topic as well, it's a great way to speak about objection handling techniques and frameworks. People really love this. All right, they're like, "Oh, sell me this pen and handle me my objections," and people just get really excited when somebody does that. But before we go into something like this, what is your objection handling techniques? How do you handle objections, or how do you see an objection when it comes at you?
Okay, so first of all, as you mentioned earlier, when you're going through discovery phases, you're actually taking away those objections before they even plant, before that seed starts to blossom.
Correct, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So that seed that's planted, you want to pluck it out before it starts to blossom. Because if you leave it in too long, it's going to blossom. It's going to become a very deep objection. Yep. Sometimes they're so deep in the objection that you can't move the sale forward. Yep. So that's step one. Step two, let's just say the objection does come up, right? The wrong thing to do is to challenge the prospect, which is what a lot of sales guys do, right? They just challenge the prospect and they think it's like, I need to convince him. You don't need to convince anybody. We don't convince in sales. We persuade. There's a very big difference. Persuading is directing them towards the decision. Convincing them is dragging them to the decision. And dragging someone will not allow them to move on their own will.
100%.
Right?
I like to think of it as well. And I think I went to the definition of sales. Sales is change. It's changing them from where they're currently at and seeing and showing them how our solution is going to change their current situation to the desired outcome.
Exactly. So when it comes to objections, bro, you need to be able to relate to the prospect. Always answer an objection with a positive. I completely understand you. I get it. I've been there. And smile for God's sake, subhanAllah. Bro, you've been doing this a lot. I've been seeing you when you go into handling objections on a 20K, 30K deal and they throw that heavy objection, you just look and you just smile, bro. And you're like, yeah, I completely understand. And this actually breaks down that sales resistance very quickly. It's a simple smile. Follow the sunnah, man. Right? So smiling and relating automatically puts the prospect in a place where they don't feel like you're against them. And then you have to use logic and emotion. This is the beautiful combination, right? Yeah. Using logic. For example, somebody came across and the objection was, I don't believe I can do this. It was a self-doubt situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I completely understand. Don't worry about it. Now, quick question, if that's okay. Yeah, sure. What is it? Have you ever been to the gym before? Ever? No? Yeah, I've been to the gym. Okay. So first day when you were in there, did you feel like you were, Hercules? What happened? Sometimes you need to ask a question, just be quiet, man. Just let them talk, right? Let the prospect open up, bro.
Yeah.
You already know the answer. And this is the power of, a powerful sales guy or a strong sales guy. He will ask questions, direct questions, indirect questions, that will bring a direct response that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the exact words.
You already know the answer.
I already know the answer for it. But I don't have to ask it to him in a way that's direct. I'll ask him indirectly, right? So I'll say, look, how was the first day in the gym? I didn't really know what I was doing. Did you know what to eat straight away? Like, did you know all the correct diets? No, I didn't. Well, what about the workouts? Were you like perfect workouts? No, I was actually, flopping around. I didn't really know what I was doing. Would you agree that if you had the PT in the situation, you would have had a bit more guidance? Yeah. Now, being in the gym, how long did it take you to actually get into shape? Oh, it took me about 6 months. Well, if you had a PT there, just out of curiosity, do you think you would have got there faster? Yeah. Does time mean anything to you? Like, is that important to you? Or is it okay to get to your goals 6 months, a year down the line? Or is it important for you right now? No, it's important for me right now. Why? When you handle objections, this is the tonality and the body language that you need to be able to make the prospect feel like you're on their side and you understand their situation by using logic, something they've already been through before. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but it's something they've been through before. And the emotion involved. What was your emotion like going through that? And then when you bring it back to handle the objection, you let him know, look, Ayub, you've been through something similar in a sense.
Yeah.
You've grew, you've went through a process, you were coached in a way, and was the result good enough? The result was good enough.
Yeah.
So you've been through this before, man. This is not something new for you. It's not new territory, it's just a new concept. And the same way you got through that, you can't get through this as long as you have two components: coachability, willingness. Now, Ayub, do you believe that you're someone that's coachable? And from the goals that you mentioned to me, do you feel like you're willing to work towards those goals? Mm-hmm. Great. Well, from what you said right now, I have confidence in, where we can go with this thing. So, with that being said, any other questions before we get you started?
No.
Okay, cool. Let's get you started.
Beautiful.
So something like that where you need to tone down with the prospect.
Yeah.
When they come with an objection, and sometimes you have objections where they're fiery, right?
Yeah.
They get emotional and then
they're
boom.
emotional.
Yeah, they get into a boom situation.
Yeah.
Your response, you don't fire.
Yeah.
You don't fight fire with fire.
You bring them back to your level.
Exactly.
And how you do that is by your tonality and you acknowledging them and just breaking it down and really understanding that once you drop the price, their hormones actually goes up.
Tell me about that, Ayub, actually. When somebody drops price, when a sales guy drops price, let's just say 5K. In fact, let's just do it right now. Let's role play, bro.
Yeah.
Right? You feeling it? Let's go. All right, so you're going to drop price on me?
Yeah.
On the program, whatever the program is.
Yeah.
And let's just go through a mocking session.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So to get access to the rise, it's a one-time payment of 5K.
Oh, 5K. Wow. I didn't really think it was that much.
Sure. Are you moving forward?
I guess I'm gonna have to just think about it and then just get back to you on the email, I guess.
Sure. I totally understand that you need to think about that. Now, just before we actually get off the call, I was curious, in your opinion, do you feel like this is exactly what you're looking for to get to XYZ goal that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. I feel like you guys have a good process, but just the funds, I don't really think I'm capable of the funds, to be honest.
Okay, interesting. So investment aside, you're 100% in. It's just a matter of getting the funds together. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I mean, in that case, since it is your goal to do this and it's just a matter of funds, are you open to having an open and honest conversation about where you're currently at financially? And then from there, we can possibly come up with a plan that best suits your financial situation.
Well, I didn't even think you guys had plans, but what do you have in mind?
I mean, firstly, I would like to know, where you're currently at financially at the moment? Savings, checkings?
I'd say around 2K.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before I try to figure something out, are you sure that this is exactly what you want to do to get to XYZ goal and take care of your family and do everything that you mentioned that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I feel confident about it.
Got it. Okay. So let me see here. So possibly, since it is your goal to do this, we can take care of, and again, I don't want to leave you with nothing, so to speak, in the bank. So what we can do is we can take an initial investment of $1,500. That way we can get you in, get you started, get you onboarded, give you access to the courses and start your process. And inshallah, within the next 30 to 60 days, we get you a role. And that way we can break down the rest of the investment on a monthly basis and they're not really a burden to you. Now, if I'm willing to do that for you, Marwan, would you be opposed to move forward? Does that sound fair?
Well, I appreciate that, but like, you know, what's the guarantee?
Now, Marwan, when people say guarantee, I'd like to put it back on them. We can guarantee that we'll do the work on our side for you to get to where you want to be. But can you guarantee me two things?
Sure. What is it?
Can you guarantee me that you're going to show up to each coaching call?
Well, I'll try.
Okay. And can you guarantee me that you're going to be trying your best in doing the work and following our instructions?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, perfect. If you can guarantee me these two things, then any student that normally follows this and stays consistent long enough will see the results in terms of getting to where they want to be and getting to your $10,000 a month that you wanted to see. In fact, this is exactly what I done to get to $18,000 in just 2 weeks.
Okay, so, you know, you mentioned your story of 2 weeks. Does that mean like I can get into the space and make 20K in 2 weeks or
Yeah.
You know, what's the time frame for me to start making that kind of money?
Good question. And is there a particular reason why you're asking that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, these numbers I'm not really used to. I'm used to like making my salary, which is 2,000-3,000.
Yeah.
And these numbers are like crazy for me. So I'm wondering like how long is it gonna really take me to get to that level?
Yeah, got it. Great question. Now, typically I don't like to sell people on my personal success. And I'd like to base it on your effort on the average standard of our community. And on average, if you're able to put in the work and show up to the calls, and as you mentioned, you can guarantee that you're going to put as much work as you can, inshallah, on average, our students land a role within the first 90 days. And an average appointment setter can make anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 per month. And inshallah, when you do land a closer role, you can make anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000 per month on average. That's an average closer, an average person. Now, if you're a top closer, which inshallah you'd be aiming to get to, you can make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, even $30,000 plus per month. Now, putting that aside, is there anything else that's keeping you less than 100% sure that it's exactly what you want to do?
No, I feel like this is a good opportunity.
All right, let's move forward. I'm going to send you the payment link right now. We'll just take care of the 1,500, get you onboarded, and we'll take it from there. Sounds fair?
Sounds good. Well done.
All right. All right.
Let's go. You close. Sign me up, man.
Sign me up. Right. So this is one of the ways that I like to tie people in, especially when there's multiple ways to handle this objection in terms of I need to think about it. A lot of different ways that we dive deep into Rizq Rise specifically. But my usual framework when I actually handle objection when I drop the price and a prospect starts fidgeting and getting emotional or like not knowing what to do and I need to think about it, I need to sleep on it. That's a smoke screen. It's not really objection. There's an underlying true objection underneath that and we need to uncover that. And how we do that is by acknowledging first, just making sure that they feel heard. I totally understand, sir. I totally understand where you're coming from. No problem.
I appreciate you opening up.
Yes, it's no problem. So the first thing is acknowledging. The second thing is tying them in. So what happens is when you drop the price, their hormones goes up. There's a spike. So they turn from a results-based thinking to a cost-based thinking. And we don't want that. So we want to tie them back in on the process to make sure that their mind is shifting from a cost-based thinking instead of thinking about the price and them not affording it to a results-based thinking to where they're thinking about the results and their desired outcome that they want to get to. So that's where I'm like, okay. So I was curious in your opinion, I mean, putting whatever objection that you said aside is talk to my partner, finances, whatever it is, putting that to aside. How do you feel about the process? Do you feel like this is exactly what you're looking for to get to XYZ goal that you mentioned earlier? And 99% of the time, they'll say yes, especially if I do my job properly in pitching and I have a great offer. And after that, once I tie them in and I isolate the challenge and I isolate the objection, now I know their true objection, that's where I go in and handle that objection. If it's partner, I go to handle partner. If it's finances, I handle it like I did. You were being a bit of a tough prospect there.
I had to test you a little bit.
You had to test me a bit.
The guys still go easy on each other, so I had to give them the show.
100%. So yeah, usually that's the framework that I like to use in terms of handling any objection is to acknowledge, isolate, and then handle the true objection, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, you mentioned the word isolate the challenge.
Yeah.
What does that mean for those who are watching this? Like, what do you mean by isolate the objection?
Yeah. I mean, think about this, right? If you don't really know their true objection, you're literally just trying to poke something, poke different thing, poke a hole that's just empty, right? There's nothing really to catch, right? You're trying to catch a rabbit that's jumping around. And if you don't really pinpoint the true objection, you'll be handling something that's not the true objection.
And you're wasting time, and you're redirecting the call to something else that's not relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what happens there is the prospect will still have that objection and they won't move forward for you, and you probably will lose the deal if you don't pinpoint that true objection. Sometimes they'll have two objections. And what you do there is you isolate one objection at a time. So for example, let's say that you had a time objection and a finance objection. The first thing that I do is isolate the objections. So I'm like, okay, let's just start off with time. Putting time aside for a moment, is there anything else keeping you, or even isolate the two objections first, time and finances? Is there anything else other than time and finances that's keeping you less than 100% sure that this is exactly what you want to do? No, that's it. So now what I did is I isolated the challenge. That means now my job is to go handle these two objections, because now I know that's the only thing that's left for me to close the deal. So that's where I use my objection handling skills to go in, handle the time objection, and then remove that. At the end of, once I handle that, I'll be like, okay, now putting time aside, is there anything else other than finances that's keeping you less than 100% sure that's exactly what you want to do? No, yeah, makes sense in terms of time. Yeah, just a matter of funds. Then I go in and do an open wallet check and handle finances, and I close the deal.
Yeah, sick, bro.
100%.
Sounds good.
So I want to ask you now, Marwan, in terms of objection handling, in terms of negotiating deals, and when it comes to high ticket sales, especially when a client pushes back on price, what do you do when
Really good.
when a
Really good
client's
question.
just like, yeah, bro, I don't want to pay that, bro. Can you do a payment plan for me? Or
It's not even payment plan. These type of prospects would even ask you for a discount. I've had this multiple times. You know this. I've
Yeah,
dealt with these
100%.
guys where they come in. Let's say price is 5K. He wants it for 3K.
yeah,
And first and foremost, I will not lower the standards. I will not lower the standards because I know what the offer is and I know how valuable it is. I know
Yep.
the outcome of that offer. The way I go about that is, instead of me trying to come to terms on negotiating with him, I will continue to remind him of the value that I spoke of when it came to the power of the product or services. I will continue to go back over and over again to make sure that the prospect understands how valuable the product or service is. Number one. Number two, I have to help them understand, by you being cheap, excuse the language, but when it comes to it, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
By you being cheap when it comes to investing, it gives you a cheap mentality.
Yeah.
Right? You have a cheap mentality, you don't want to go all in. The guys that go all in, from what I've seen, are the guys that have the fastest results. They're the guys that crush it in the industry. They're the guys that switch up lanes very fast.
Yeah.
So I will continue to, advise the prospect to tell him, look, the way you think, the best method that you believe is the right way for you to move forward doesn't necessarily give you the best chance to win. Meaning that if you want to hold back funds, know that you're holding back potential.
Yeah.
Know that you're holding back attention, which is super important. If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. I say this all the time, right?
Yes, correct.
You don't pay attention. When you pay, it comes out of your pocket. You're emotionally attached to what you've invested in, which means that you give it attention, which means that it's a priority for you.
That's correct.
So dropping your standards means that your product or your offer or whatever it is that you're selling isn't as strong as you think it is, because you've bent the rules for it, right? You've bent the rules to just make sure you can collect the cash. So really and truly, is it worth it? I wouldn't think so. If I was the prospect and the price was changing every 2 minutes, I would have doubt in their ability to be like, why are they changing the price on me multiple times?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you can have a payment plan, that's a different story. But if you want to negotiate a price with me, then I won't budge.
It lowers your standards as well as a company.
Absolutely.
It shows that you're willing to bend the rules for the company just to get a sale in.
I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to say, look, I don't really think that this is the right fit. If that's the mindset you have, that's absolutely fine. But the guys that come in here, fear of missing out, right? FOMO. The guys that come in here, they're ready to go all in.
Yeah.
You know, they're ready to really invest in themselves, their abilities, what they're going to be doing, and they're ready to lock in for 90 days. So I just want to ask you a quick question, Ayub, just to remind you.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier on that you're really coachable and winning. Can you lock in for 90 days? Is that a possibility for you?
Yeah.
Now, you're probably going to say, what do you mean by 90 days? I mean, like, can you sit down between you and yourself and say, look, I'm going to give this thing 90 days. And I say to the guys all the time, it takes 21 days to build a habit, 90 days to change your lifestyle. Not to become a millionaire. People get it twisted. They think 90 days, I'm a millionaire, I'm rich. No. Livelihood, right, is 5 years, 10 years. That's livelihood. That's a whole different part of life. But I'm saying your lifestyle, how you live your life, being remote, having more flexibility, being available with the family, so on and so forth. It takes 90 days to go to that. Now, if you have the stamina to go to that for 90 days, then wouldn't you want to invest in yourself as much as you can, knowing the return is high?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move forward.
Let's do it.
That's it.
Beautiful.
You know, I wouldn't lower the standards at all, man.
You know what's crazy as well, because I did this as well in my B2B offer as well when I was closing 20, 30K tickets, where you come across business owners that are entitled, and they're like, yo, can I just get a lower package? Is there any lower package? Can you just drop the price on us for a bit? Can I do a payment plan? And when I have that leverage and that abundance, and this is very, very important in sales, having abundance mindset. When you have an abundance mindset, you remove the commission breath, so to speak.
You're not attached to the outcome.
You're not attached to the outcome, okay? You're very confident in your selling ability and your product and what value you're bringing to the market, okay? And it reflects in your sales calls, and people can feel it. They can feel like you don't care if you move forward or not. And I use that on one of my sales calls, and many of them actually, where people want to negotiate the deal, and they're like, yo, yeah, I want to move forward, but like this is that. I'm like, okay. I mean, in that case, then I don't feel like it would be a great fit. We're not the cheaper option for you. If it is, you can move forward with any other agency. There's thousands of them out there. We just wouldn't move with a client like yours if you want to go with a cheaper option. And we ended a call. They came back in a couple of weeks, email, we're ready to get started, full pay.
They shopped around. Don't be afraid to let someone shop around, man.
Yeah. Especially when you know the value that you provide, so to speak, and you want to budget the price. You got to show them sometimes that you're not afraid to let them go. You're not really desperate for their sale, especially if you really believe in your product and service. Like, okay, I'm not budging, especially when it comes to like discounts. Oh, I want a discount. There's no problem. We can do a payment plan. We can split it up if necessary. If I see value in doing that, but in terms of discounts and trying to push the price down because this business owner wants it, then no, then I have to do it to everybody else. And this is where ethical closing comes in. And being an ethical closer, you need to be ethical. You need to be truthful in what you're doing. And this is one methodology that I learned from one guy in the online space in terms of the cost. A broke person or a poor person, if you give them a bag, okay, just a cheap bag, let's say from Pennies, all right, and you said to them, hey, this is $10,000. The broke person will say, no, I'm not buying that. What the hell? The rich person will ask, what's in that bag?
Ah, powerful. That's deep, bro.
Because what's in it for you? A lot of people, poor people think about the cost. Rich people think what they're actually going to get.
What's the opportunity?
What they're going to get return of the money that they're going to give you.
Yeah.
This is huge. So if you're able to do that and make the prospect understand that, especially if you're in a B2C space and B2B space as well, you're going to be closing more deals that you can count.
Crazy. Let's transition the conversation to mindset, bro. I think we should really speak about the mindset of high ticket sales, what one should embody when he's in this space.
Let's do it, man. That in fact brings a good question because you're big into mindset, bro. And the team knows you for that. I want to ask you, what mindset shifts are crucial for a salesperson moving into the high ticket sales space or just in sales in general?
All right. Well, look, first of all, here's a mindset you need to have when you're in sales. You have to be able to run yourself. Yeah, and not even just self-motivated. Bro, if you're having a bad start to the day, you need to be able to go to the toilet, wash your face, and be like, just talk to yourself. Look, you got to crush this. Let's get back in the zone. Let's get to work. And it's crazy because people think that, no, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You have to get ticked off that you're not performing, right? It has to bother you, bro. It has to actually bother you that you're not performing because that's on you.
Yeah.
Like when you take accountability and say it's on me, you start to perform very differently, bro. The same way you did when it came to your 18K In 2 weeks, you took accountability.
100%.
You were like, right, that's it. I need to take charge. I need to stop being inconsistent. I need to follow through. So the first thing when it comes to the mindset of someone going into high-ticket sales or sales in general, or entrepreneurship, you need to have the self-determined, self-disciplined mentality. No one's coming to save you, bro.
Yeah.
Accept this from the beginning. It's me, myself, and I. Obviously, everything from Allah Azza wa Jal. Obviously, this is not even, a
question.
question. Everything's from Allah. Whether it comes in good form, testing forms, challenging forms, alhamdulillah.
It goes back to tawakkul as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tawakkul is a huge part of a mindset as a salesperson because you're always relying on your own performance. And what else could you do other than having full tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then putting in the work?
Absolutely. So you have the element of tawakkul. You know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qadr is most powerful and whatever He wills happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to look at yourself and be like, look, am I performing? Am I actually performing? Bro, when I was getting into the high-ticket sales space, when I was getting into the direct sales space back in network marketing, I was obsessed, bro, with developing myself. Like, I was obsessed, bro. My team were going to sleep. I was taking calls in Hawaii. Wallahi, my team were falling asleep in the UK. I was taking calls with them all day. They fall asleep. I start calling Hawaii. I start calling Canada. I start calling America. Places where I've never been before. I remember reaching out to an individual in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And I got that person on board into my program, got them started, helped them. Yeah. And I see that they were hungry. They really wanted to grow in the direct sales space, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, look, are you coachable? Are you willing? Are these two things, are they there? And they were like, yeah. I was like, okay, khalas. We're working together now. I'm going to be pouring into you, right? I'm going to be working with you directly now. And that person sold 70 offers within 2 months, bro. That person. So the coachability and the willingness and the self-discipline. I've never been to Hawaii. I've never seen this person before. So I wasn't there to be like, hey, good morning. Come on, get into shape. Come on, we need to get to work. Yeah. No, that person just woke up. It's crazy because I was doing training calls for my team, 3 a.m., bro, in Hawaii. And that person was up every single day at 3 a.m. on these Zoom calls, bro. Sharp as a dart, taking these lessons. Do you get what I'm saying? So the first thing when it comes to mindset and high-ticket sales or in sales or in entrepreneurship, you have to be self-disciplined.
Self-driven as well.
Yeah, you have to drive, bro. It's you versus you. And when I say you versus you, how did you perform yesterday? Today you got to perform better. How did you perform yesterday? Today you got to perform better. You can't be on the same pace. Anything that's stagnant dies eventually.
100%.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like if you're stagnant, bro, if you go to people that have been in the same industry for 20, 30 years, dead jobs, that they've been there for 30 years, bro, and you talk to them, this guy has no life in him left. Khalas. This guy lived to 28, 29, then he got that job, then his brain, his intuition, his ambition, his pursuit, his success all died, bro. Everything just burnt. And he sat there for 30 years being a robot. That for me is crazy. It's crazy. Or you go into a burger shop, bro. I'm not against any jobs in the end of the day, but I'm saying like if you want to go into sales and high-ticket sales, you can't be average. You can't think average, right?
You're not gonna make it.
You're not gonna make it. And even if you do make a good month, that's gonna be a lucky month for you. Like you've done well for a month, that's it. It's finished. But if you are consistently always learning, developing, holding yourself accountable, looking for resources to develop and grow, looking for new strategies, developing the strategies that you already have, mocking all the time, developing your mocking, right?
Yeah.
Then eventually you're going to have the correct mindset that's going to push you forward in business, bro.
100%.
And it's crazy because I've seen guys do this literally within 90 days. Not 5 years, bro. In a real business, like not a real business, but you know what I mean, like a traditional business, it takes someone 10 years to get to that level where they're high performance. In high-ticket sales, if you actually lock in, you can do it in 90 days. You can actually do it in 90 days.
You know what's crazy as well is, and this is a $1 million or $1 million tip for the guys as well that want to succeed in sales. Network. Build your network. Because you can make it in sales. You can build up your skill. You can do well. But if you want to be a top 10%, top 5%, top 1% sales rep that makes the big bucks in the industry, build your network. Because that's how you're going to get into the opportunities that nobody really sees. It's like the iceberg. Okay, the job market, you can only see the little ones that everybody shoots for. But then the bottom of the iceberg is where the jobs or the opportunities that people don't really see or get at their hands on, because to get to that level, you need to be networking. You need to shake hands with the right people, be in certain places with the right people, and showcase your experiences to the right people to be able to get there. Networking has changed my life, and I know it has for you. I think that's a great question as well for you in terms of networking. How has networking changed your life, especially in sales and just the business dynamic?
Well, first and foremost, let me mention that as a family, we own roughly around 15 companies. My brother, Allahumma barik,
Allahumma barik, shabab.
my brother Abdullah, being the CEO of the mothership company we have, which is Septimus Security, Security International Corporate business. And through all these businesses, being in the security space, restaurants and cafes, real estate, car rentals, like these are all different industries, right?
Yeah.
But I was always hungry for two things: networking within the industries and the sales process within these industries, right? So, for example, I'll give a quick scenario. I went networking with my older brother in a specific meeting in Dublin, and I was a tag along basically, right? I wasn't meant to be at the meeting, but I tagged along. And this is another thing, wanting to network, like actually having the desire to step out your comfort zone and saying, even though I don't know what I'm going to get out of that conversation, I'm still going. I'm dressing sharp. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm giving them the best impression possible. And I don't know what comes out of that conversation. I'm excited, bro. When I don't know what's coming out of the conversation, I try to discover, right? Try to go through an adventure of what is there here that we can do together. But anyways, we sat in that meeting. Long story short, my brother had a meeting with a specific individual there, and there was another individual that sat with me.
Yeah.
And this person, let's just say, is a very, very talkative person. Like he spoke and spoke and spoke, and I was just listening, right? And 2 hours were probably, nothing relevant to what I wanted to hear, but he said one statement that I just went, boom, okay, that made sense. Let me dive into that. So he was talking about a specific topic that I had no experience of, but I knew was a golden opportunity. I dove into it, right? I dived into it, and we spoke about the ins and outs of a specific, industry. And I went from having a quick convo, 2 hour, 3 hour, whatever it was, quick meeting, to him coming down to the office, sitting with him for 3-4 hours, discovering a lot more about the opportunity, sending him back to his office space and bringing his manager to come meet me, sending the manager back and bringing his boss to come meet me. So there's a whole process. But then, long story short, I was able to crack a $3 million deal.
Allahumma barik.
Allahumma barik.
I think we're going to go deep in that in a different...
In a different episode.
In a different episode, 100%. A different video, inshallah.
100%.
Yeah.
But the thing is, bro, the point is, I was there to network. The networking brought the conversations. The conversations open ideas. The opening ideas brought forward an opportunity. After finding an opportunity, I went through a process of finding the right people that made decisions upon that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when the deal came across, we closed the deal, alhamdulillah. And it was a $3 million deal. Yeah, man, look, networking, and that's just a small example of it, just a small meeting. But networking at a high level, like I love going to events. I absolutely love going, whether it's Islamic events, whether it's charity events. Yeah, whether it's charity events. And this is something that me and you were doing at the same time, but we weren't, we didn't know each other well enough.
Exactly.
But I'd see you at networking events. We're like, oh, who's that guy? Is that the Libya guy? SubhanAllah. So we knew each other from the that's how we knew each other, bro, from the networking events. Imagine.
And Umrah got us closer. I remember, SubhanAllah.
Umrah definitely got us closer. We'll talk about that on a different episode.
Inshallah.
But networking gave me a lot of confidence, bro. Like I can walk up to anybody and have a very slick conversation. I can leave a very good impression. I can connect with this guy on a personal, emotional level. I can take their contact details and make sure that they are happy for me to contact them after this meeting. Do you get what I'm saying? So I learned all these skills that were so transferable in high ticket sales, because in high ticket sales, you can put anybody put a board member, put a CEO, put a fresh guy, put a new sales guy, whatever it is. I can have a conversation that will connect with him on multiple levels that would allow him to see the opportunity for himself. Do you get what I'm saying? So
100%.
Networking, anyone watching this, bro, networking is like you said, non-negotiable. You have to actively look. You have to actively look for opportunities to network in.
100%.
Real quick, I want to mention a story. We have a client that we onboarded into our program at Rizq Rise. SubhanAllah, this guy, crazy to me. The guy already made £2 million through his e-commerce store. He's had tremendous success. Allahumma barik. Right? And this brother, funny enough, when he came on the sales call with us, he wasn't even looking for high ticket sales. Obviously, he's not looking for high ticket sales, man. The guy's already making a killing. But what was crazy was his networking and communication abilities were very weak because he made all of his money online through e-commerce. So he wasn't really networking with anyone that was high profile, right?
Yeah.
So he came onto our program just for me to mentor him on networking and communications. Within 4 weeks, bro, he went from someone extremely shy, doesn't even look in the camera when I'm talking to him on Zoom, his head down, very like stuttery, doesn't really know how to navigate a conversation, didn't even know how to introduce himself. Imagine a £2 million business owner and he didn't even know how to introduce himself. He introduced himself by saying, you know, this is my name, I do e-commerce.
That's crazy.
SubhanAllah. So working with this guy for 4 weeks, he called me literally a couple of days ago and he was like, bro, I'm going to Dubai, I'm meeting up with a couple of billionaires and we're networking here, there. He sent me a video yesterday of him being, you know, with this billionaire in a Ferrari in Dubai, going for a dinner.
Yeah.
And he's networking really, really well. He's actually flying across the globe to a different country right now to go network there. And to see this guy's growth within the networking communication space has opened so many doors for him, because now he's negotiating big deals where he's getting investors involved with different projects, opening crazy doors for himself.
SubhanAllah.
And SubhanAllah, that's the power of, you know, networking at a high level. So, you know, anyone watching this thinking if Rizq Rise is just a high ticket sales space for high ticket sales guys, no, we got business owners in here. We got guys that are already in the high ticket sales space. We got guys that are brand new to sales. We got guys that have their own social media marketing agencies, that are coaches. All these guys come to us for the simple element of mentorship on different levels. We're talking about sales, we're talking about leadership, we're talking about communication, networking. Bro, we're doing Quran classes to educate them through the deen as well, right? We have Sheikh Jamal coming on Saturday, inshallah, as well. We have brother Abdullah who's coming next week as well. And this is like, there's much more than just sales.
Yes.
Right? I love this, because when people come to us to learn about high ticket sales, they don't realize they're getting way more
100%
out of the conversation.
Because the skills are transferable to so many areas of their life, and their confidence, in their relationship, in terms of other things in their life, and marriage, and just every aspect of their life, which is amazing. But I feel like, Marwan, we've talked and we covered a lot of different topics, and there's still a lot of value, and we still a lot of topics to touch upon, and still a lot of questions to answer. But I feel like we can divert to the next episode, inshallah. So if you're somebody that enjoyed this episode, bi'idhnillah, make sure you like, comment, and share it to somebody that you feel like would get amazing, tremendous value from this episode, bi'idhnillah. So, any last words?
Last words is, if you're someone that's on the fence right now you're trying to learn more about high ticket sales or how you can empower yourself through mentorship and coaching, then feel free to check out the caption. There's going to be a booking link there. You can book a call with us just to discover if this is, you know, something that we can really help you with. And if we can't help you, we'll send you on your way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.